detective in training to point the gun at me.
Check it again.
Yeah.
Check it again.
No need.
I'll show you.
Okay.
Goes against every training I've ever had.
So if he was to point the gun at me, I'd have to be 4 feet from the barrel of this gun, or 1 to 4 feet to generate the stippling you're talking about?
Inside of 4 feet, like I said, that's an outside number.
Is that approximately where I would be right now?
It's about 4 feet, maybe a little closer.
I'll get a ruler, but that's more than 4 feet.
It would be my impression that it's a greater distance than 4 feet.
Well, I'm not bad at distances. Is this 4 feet approximately?
It's a little hard to tell, but you're closer. You're probably about 4 feet there.
More than.
So if it's the left hand, we're gonna go like right. You see this, doctor?
You actually have to turn your hand over.
Over, like this?
No, go the opposite direction, like this.
Like,
There you go.
okay. And it would then come in approximately.
41. If you can tell, is this the video that you reviewed in terms of both the shooting deaths of Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Huber?
It is.
I'd ask you to play the video until I ask you to stop.
Hey!
Can you see where on there you indicate that he would be positioned with the first shot?
Yes, I can clearly see the reflection of the light on his back, and I can see that he's upright when the first shot is heard. I'm touching the barrel.
And if my hand were in front of the barrel, there would be soot here. And I'm pointing now to, what would you call this part of the fire, sir?
I would call it the outside of the pinky finger, so that it's understandable.
The outside of the pinky finger, if my hand was in front of the barrel, the heaviest soot would be in that location, correct?
You would expect soot in that location.
And
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but some of the jurors I don't think are able to see, so let's, you got your shot. So, you go ahead.
the pinky finger, once again illustrating the side of my hand, if it was in front of the barrel, is how depicted the heaviest soot here.
You would expect some soot on that side of the hand.
And there is,
And I didn't see any.
I don't know.
Would you send copies of those photos? Send copies of those photos to the clerk, please. Send copies of those photos to the clerk. Thank you.
Hey, everyone, check out the poll I just asked. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for tuning in.
So, doctor, is it consistent if I'm approaching the detective, I'm struck in my hip, fracturing my hip, that I would fall, reach out with my hand and try to knock the gun away?
That's a possibility.
Am I positioning my hand correctly with the evidence?
Your hand is, you put your hand over
Well, we don't know if it's over, so
like this. Well, just in a position so that the soot is on the palmar surface,
like this?
like this. So if you go in and you,
So the entrance wound is here.
no, the entrance wound is on the palmar surface, the undersurface.
Palmar surface.
So if you do it, Superman, and then turn your
Ooh.
hand a little bit like this, you can put it in a position that there you go,
Like this.
like that.
So What you're saying is consistent with being shot here, momentum carry forward, and swiping at the gun. That would be consistent with the injuries you found.
Those scenarios are possible.
But my hand is positioned correctly to create the injuries that you found.
That's the position that the hand has to be in.
And then the bullet would have traveled down and potentially
Hey Nora, thanks for
picked up
tuning in.
some bullet fragments and concrete and hit my leg.
That's what I think happened.
And then I would have continued down, and then the shot to the head and the mid-back would have occurred as I was falling down.
As you were more horizontal to the ground, yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Doctor, when you get shot the first time, that doesn't cause you to go forward, correct?
It shouldn't cause you to go forward, backward, or
Okay,
anything.
so he already, Mr. Rosenbaum, already had to have forward momentum at a force to go from the 0 shot to the second shot in 2.26 hundredths of a second to be in contact or right on top of that barrel, correct?
Yes, he had forward momentum.
Thank you.
Nothing further. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. You may step down. Let's break for lunch. It has just arrived, I think, and we'll take until around 12:30. Any questions? Okay, please don't talk about the case. Read, watch, or listen to any account. See you later.
Dang. Went to lunch. So, so confused as to what they were even asking. Starts here.
Yeah.
Something like going on.
Good afternoon. It's still morning. Sorry, it's been a long day. Doctor, talking about generally stippling, stipling, comes if this, I'm holding up the pointer, the back end of the pointer, the thick end, the barrel of the gun. Here, do we have agreement with that?
Yes.
If this gun fires a projectile, the first thing that comes out, and I'm not saying in order, but what would show nearness is soot stippling, correct?
Correct.
And then further out would be gunpowder stippling.
Yes, soot and then gunpowder.
Okay, and in the soot stippling, it has to be, generally speaking, as you said, either in contact or within a foot.
Yes, it's within a few inches. It's very close.
Okay, and when you looked at the state's exhibit, you said it was either very close or in contact, and we're talking about the handle.
Yes, it could be within that range. So it could have been in contact.
Okay, and as I said, if this is the barrel of the gun, this is my left hand, the barrel of the gun had to be somewhere in this area, correct?
Hey,
That's
Andrew,
correct.
what's up?
Now, the soot stippling, and I'm pointing with the pointer to my baby finger,
I mean,
there
he's not
is no
guilty until proven
soot
guilty.
stippling here, correct?
I believe that's correct. Yes.
Okay, the bulk of it starts between
I don't understand
what would be the
any of this
ring
has to-
and commonly referred to as middle finger.
Yes.
Okay, so that means the barrel
They're
of the
on break
gun,
right now.
if not touching, would have been like this.
It's in that location. That's correct.
So that hand was over the barrel of Mr. Rittenhouse's gun
Ah.
when his hand was shot.
That makes sense.
Okay, and the bullet goes into the fingers and then out through here. And I'm showing the fat part of the in between my index and thumb.
Yes, the exit is to the index finger, but it's on the back of the lateral side of that finger, yes.
And exhibit 105, please. What we just went over, I'm showing you an exhibit, be up on the screen. It's been marked Defense Exhibit 105. You see that photo exhibit?
Yes,
Okay, and that's Mr. Rosenbaum's hand,
his left hand, correct.
left hand, and you took that photograph, correct?
Yes.
Circle on here to the best of your ability where the soot starts.
Yeah.
Okay, can you draw a line off of there into where it can be seen and then just put your initials? Thank you. And you put the circle on the ring finger, correct?
Correct.
Leaving the baby finger uncircled and blank, correct?
Correct. I don't see any.
You don't see any soot there, right?
Correct.
Would move exhibit 105 into evidence.
Objection? No. Proceed.
Would ask to publish it to the jury.
Already on the objection. Okay, fine.
Yeah, see, I could definitely agree with the possession charge. He did have bond. I'm pretty sure he did get
Now,
bond.
you would agree that this shooting of Mr. Rosenbaum, which is captured partially on video, is a dynamic situation, correct?
Correct.
And if the furthest he was away with the stipling that you see in the wounds was 4 feet and closing, that goes very quickly, correct? If someone's running at you?
Yes.
Okay, and 4 feet, correct me if I'm wrong, is about from me to you away.
That's about correct.
And if I had my hands out, I'm even closer, correct?
Yes.
If I'm lunging and going for your gun, which is an extension away from your body,
No.
closer still.
Yes.
This is not know what's been going on this long.
And you saw the video that Dr. Jensen
Been
reviewed,
up
and
to-
he was running.
Man, shot by the- oh wow, he testified.
Right now, these
Following the police shot, and Blake here in Kenosha is now on the witness stand. He is describing his initial interaction.
The trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, accused of killing 2 people during.
In court today, jurors for the first time hearing
think
from the
we'll ever
man who
hear
was
it.
shot by Kyle Rittenhouse and survived. Gage Grosskreutz testifying about when he initially came upon Rittenhouse armed with a semi-automatic rifle.
I thought that the defendant was an active shooter.
Thinking Rittenhouse had shot people,
They don't have
Grosskreutz
to do
started
anything.
following.
Like they never play the whole testimony. To hear what he has to say. No, NBC has to.
In the moment, I thought that the defendant was an active shooter.
Gage Grosskreutz, the only protester who was shot by Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year and lived to he described the moments before the teenager shot him in the right arm with a semi-automatic rifle.
How are you 17 and have that type of... He's definitely going to jail for something. Burgers. Let's just...
So after you raised your hands like
Non-biased.
this, you saw the defendant re-rack the weapon?
Correct.
What did you think was going to happen?
Probation?
In my experiences and in my inference in that moment, for the defendant had pointed his weapon at me and I had put my hands in the air. Re-racking the weapon in my mind, meant that the defendant pulled the trigger while my hands were in the air, but the gun didn't fire. So then by re-racking the weapon, I inferred that the defendant wasn't accepting my surrender.
Did you feel that he was going to point the gun and shoot at you again?
Yes.
What did you do then?
So after the defendant had re-racked his weapon with the rifle still aimed at me, in that moment, I felt that I had to do something to try and prevent myself from being killed or being shot or killed.
Mr. Grosskreutz, after seeing the defendant shoot at one person at close range twice, shoot at Mr. Huber in the chest once, and having already been told by others in the crowd that he'd previously already shot someone else, and having him point the gun at you, and you're holding your own pistol in your hand, why didn't you take your own gun and shoot the defendant first?
Like I said, that's not the kind of person that I am. That's not why I was out there. That's not why I was out there for 75 days prior to that. Why I spent, up until that point, spent my time, my money, my education, providing care for people. That's not...
Okay. Are they back from it? Definitely not back. And I'm gonna take a